Simona, we are back
Hello,
here, everybody. Simona is
I'm
currently
in Thailand, Bangkok.
in Bangkok. All right.
Yeah,
So I didn't want to. I was not sure if I should announce that you're in Bangkok
yeah.
because
We don't need to be specific.
yeah, exactly. I was thinking maybe people are gonna hunt you down in Bangkok and
Yeah, yeah.
wait
I
in front
already
of the
had
hotel.
already had one lady that recognized me because my friend Sheree went to see an apartment that I was currently talking to that lady, and the lady. So I texted Sheree, my friend, and she saw my picture popping up on her screen, and she's like, "Oh, you know her?" And I'm like, and my friend was like, "Yeah, I
Really?
know her." Yeah,
That's crazy.
and yeah,
That's
she's
so
like, "Yeah,
funny.
I know."
It's so funny.
Yeah,
It's so
small
funny that you
world.
mentioned that. I was like recently I was in Vienna. I went to some kind of cafe to eat a cake, and like people were outside. Like it was really small. There were like 3 tables, and apparently there was some influencer, some TikTok influencer in there. I did not know her, but the people were really outside, like, "How have you seen her? Have you seen her? She's in there. She's in there, right?" And like it's crazy that people actually recognize people from social media, and like you're a
So
celebrity if you are kind of like it's spooky in a way.
it's funny how things are shifting. Like back in the days, remember you had to be on TV in order to be recognized, and now you're just on social media. So which brings another um, one of those factors like should I be on social media or should I not, right? And I still get a
Right.
lot of people saying social media is not for me. Like it's a necessity at this point. You can't choose. Like that's not an option. Not being on social media is literally costing you money.
It's interesting that you say that. I mean, social media is not for me. If you believe it or not, I mean, I cannot think of a life anymore where I am not on social media or when I don't do anything on social media. But what do you think makes people think that they should not be on social media, or like what's the hindrances of them?
I know why. I'm gonna tell you why I think I shouldn't be on social media and why I'm not a social media person, believe it or not. Like for me personally, I'm a very private person and I really value privacy. And sometimes when I'm on social media, it just feels like I'm leaking privacy, I like to keep things to myself. And that's why even though okay, yeah, I have a personal profile, I have a business page. Still on the business page I have people who know me from real life, right? Not just followers. Those people are more than numbers. And then sometimes I'm like, okay, should I post this or is it too early? Like we kind of like get stuck in that overthinking stage instead of just taking action. So I think it could be analysis paralysis again, as usual, and privacy concerns. To me it's privacy concerns because I don't like showing what's happening on the back end, but it's a necessity, right? What about you? Are you a social media
Um,
person?
I used to not be. I hated social media over everything, and I could not understand why people do like
Oh,
what the hell are they doing on social media, to be honest, right? And
all the Twitter
funny
guys
thing,
hate
what did you say? Sorry, over?
all the Twitter guys hate social media.
I don't know. For me, I mean, like back in the days on Facebook and like how people grew on Facebook. And I think a part of me was kind of jealous because it's not like that I
Mm,
wanted to be famous, but I was just like, hey, cool, it sounds interesting what they do, but I have no clue how to start it, right? And that's what
mhm.
you said before. This analysis paralysis is something that I still feel like pretty much every day I have this. I encounter this paralysis analysis. And at some point, I was in an agency, a small agency, and they were doing social media for clients. But then also, like, they gave me one client and they were like, yeah, do social media for that guy. And I was like, yeah, okay, I could just post something. But I wanted to
Yeah.
really understand how it's working, right? Like, how can some accounts grow to, I don't know, 100,000 followers and like have that many views and likes and stuff like that? They just go like through the roof. And that's where it got interesting. So it's kind of like I don't let anything to coincidence. I don't want to just like create uh, content and hope that it's going to be good. I just really want to try to find out what's the underlying psychological construct to be of a viral post, for example, versus one that completely tanks. And So I went in there, and that was just I cannot sell to a client social media if I never did it right. This is wrong. So I actually tripped in there. I was like pushed in it. Like, okay, I need to learn it. Otherwise, I cannot talk to people like this is what you need to do, right? If somebody comes to me like, hey, you need a better hook, it's like, do you have social media? He's like, no. It's like, okay, I don't really take you for that. Cannot really take you serious because yes, I know I need a better hook, but it's not always that easy to have this killer hook that people are actually watching your stuff. So yeah, that was the start of my social media career. I'm doing it for other people, but I got stuck in it.
Yeah, you got stuck in it. Yeah. What do you think is the secret ingredient? Like, if you were to take on a new client that hasn't done any social media before, and they're like, "Hey, Phil, can you help me get viral eventually later down the line?" Or like, "Can you help me set up a foundation to get viral at some point,
I
in future?"
mean, yes, I usually when everybody wants to go viral, but I usually tell them you don't need to be viral because virality can actually destroy your business, and that's something that a lot of people don't understand. Because if I, for example, in my business where I'm, yeah, okay, if I go viral, that would be pretty helpful for me right now. But if I'm selling alpaca socks, for example, so super random, and I have a video that goes viral, and then everybody follows me, but nobody buys from me. So I'm actually at the same point where I was before I went viral, right? Because some people just follow you because this specific piece of content was great and it helps your brand awareness, but it doesn't generate you money. And eventually you just have a potpourri of a target audience or like an audience that is not really adjusted to your business
Your
case, and that's where it's actually counterproductive, right? So I usually tell the people like, okay, what's your business, what do you want to achieve on social media? Because a lot of people just feel like they need to be on social media, and they want to be on Instagram because it's cool and sexy, and TikTok, for example. So I just try to analyze with them like which platform makes actually sense for them. And if you're selling alpaca socks, I think video content is a good start, but you don't need to do every platform at once. It's also okay to just like do one to start out, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to kind of like catch them a little bit to find out like what is actually their wishes and dreams of like social media, and not just like become an influencer, and because it's not really necessary, right?
No, yeah, 100%. And while you were this telling me about it, I was thinking about something because I remember one time there was this video that went viral on a TikTok account. It wasn't mine, just someone I used to manage. And I'm just thinking, like, sometimes certain specific social media platforms are just useless to go viral and not keep up the momentum, especially TikTok, because it's a needy platform. Once you create something, you go viral, and if you decide not to, continue creating, it's literally useless. Pardon me, not useful. So, yeah, when it comes to certain social media platforms, definitely what we need to do is to focus on creating um, something that's going to keep you accountable and something that is sustainable as well, like a mixture of
Absolutely.
these. Yeah.
Yeah, and also like what you said, like sustainability, this is a very strong word because a lot of people then think, okay, I need to post every day, and
Mm.
you do that for
Burn.
2 weeks. Yeah, and then you hit a brick
Yeah.
wall, right? I mean, I see it, for example, my sister is doing TikTok quite heavily, and she actually, I think she has like 3 channels there. And I have to tell you, I don't know how she cranks out so many content, but you need to get in the game. If you start out, you get overwhelmed
Yeah.
really quickly, and at some point you get the hang out of it, what could be good content and what not, and then you just do it naturally. I think that's what I do. Sometimes I just like have a chat like with you, for example, right now, and I'm like, hey, there's actually some helpful stuff. I could actually just re-record it or just like cut it out from a phone call, and yeah, there you go. So yeah,
It's about being able to find the easiest solution to create something that doesn't require a lot of attention because you want to build something sustainable. And not many
yeah,
people know
exactly.
that. They put in a lot of effort, time, money into creating content. It should not feel like it's another job. Like, you should be able to focus on your clients, on your work, or whatever you're doing. And content creation should feel, obviously, it's a job itself, but it should feel easy. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you are a business and you start out or you want to do social media because you think that's a good channel for you, it should
yeah,
not stop you from doing your core business. It should be a side. If it
that's
takes
true.
more time and resources to be on social media than actually doing your business, then you do it wrong or you need help.
That is true. Yep, exactly. You need professional help. And also, one more thing I wanted to note is the fact that it's okay to feel like that when you're starting out because you don't have the structure, systems, and it's not there yet. That's fine. You shouldn't be too hard on yourself. But then again, if it feels like a struggle consistently, then that's a sign that you need to start looking for help, I believe.
I mean, getting back to like just thinking about social media, like in the beginning, I was just like, I also see it on me, and like I think everybody went through that, and I'm sure you feel like that also sometimes.
100%.
Sometimes you're very consumed by social media, and at some point I just feel like it's taking so much time away from me. I mean, also it's not just about posting, right? You also should be engaging with people, talking to people, and it's about like creating real connections. I mean, after all, this is how we met, and that's how we are like working together from time to time right now, right? I mean, we met on Instagram. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I think there was a time I was doing LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram and Twitter, whereas Twitter was mainly automated. This was pretty cool with a tool called Hype Fury, so I could actually just have 5 posts that were posted per day. And I landed gigs there. It was pretty cool just by automated stuff. And but if you really want to reach out to people and create connections, it's time consuming. Also, like we are chatting, we are talking here, and then I
Yeah.
realized I'm sitting in the evening in front of the TV and I'm like 2 hours long just on social media and scrolling and like chatting. And in the background, there's like Seinfeld running or like King of Queens or something, but I don't even pay attention. And I felt like my time was just like, it's sped up. It was Monday and whoops, it was already Friday. And it was like, what the hell happened this week? I don't know. But I was just like constantly engaged in something, eventually doing
Mm-hmm.
nothing. So what I did is like I portioned myself to just only engage or do social media activities before lunchtime. And after lunchtime, I might post something if necessary, or I create something for the next day. And at 5 o'clock is the last time of the day where I actually go on social media. And then like I let it be. I don't care about it anymore because when I put this phone away, I even started to when I go to the living room and I watch TV or like hang out with my wife. I leave my phone here in the office. I don't even bring it because I feel
I
like
love.
it's a fucking addiction, to be honest. Not just social media, but the whole phone, right? And I feel like I see it also like a lot of people just are constantly stuck to it. And recently I read that a guy said, like, where was it? Oh no, it was a book that I read. And he said that mobile phone has become such a distraction that every time you feel awkward, you
You pick
escape
up,
the
you
phone.
reach out.
Exactly.
Yep,
It's like
I've seen that.
you're waiting before you can pay at the register, right? You check your phone. I do that too. Like fucking guilty. Like it's crazy. Or I quickly
Just
open social media and I don't know. I see the same post I just saw an hour ago, right? I mean, it's not that much happens, and even though something
you,
happens, don't need to know it all the time.
it kind of reminds me of when people used to reach out to cigarettes because they feel nervous or whatever that
Yeah,
feeling is. Yeah, so it's pretty much the same addiction, type of addiction. And instead of, like working on resolving the core issue of your problems, whatever you're going through, I don't mean to sound that dramatic, but yeah, it is problems. You're trying to escape from your current reality by reaching out to to see what's
yeah,
on your phone. When in fact, there is
exactly.
something else deeper than the actual situation that we are trying to explain here.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to go into like addictive behaviors. That would be a whole different episode, I think. Here, especially after I came clean with not drinking coffee anymore. I'm very proud because I
Oh
drank
yeah,
like
what
2 liters of black coffee a day. So now I'm good.
literally Online.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, on a note, like, hey, okay, in the beginning, what's happening when you're on social media is like you get these dopamine kicks, right? How many likes do I get? How many people write something? How many views that does the video have, for example? It's a whole game. It's all gamificated. And I realized at some point where I don't post and nothing actually is going on my phone, I still pick it up and I need to chase this dopamine, right? So what I do is like I start reading news or I go on Quora or on Reddit, right, to just read something. It's just all in my head.
One of those
It's
ones
like
on
it's
Chrome, right?
yeah, exactly. And then I'm just like constantly like I need to chase this, and then I post something. I feel like, oh, cool, game is on. So what's going on with my post now? It's like out there. How is like being taken? It's a whole video game basically, and it's addictive. So just be aware of that and don't get consumed by it. Just ignore it at some point. I think you just like have to disconnect from that because otherwise you're
Yeah.
really, really, really gonna miss out on a lot.
So that's helpful to business owners who are on social media consuming but not creating. So instead of being there as a consumer, you can just switch that mindset and shift your online activities to creating. It's much easier and more productive, I believe.
Right, right. Also, I think when you start creating, you look at or you consume differently, I would say. Like when I go through posts, I don't look at them as what is their content, but I usually look at it like, what did he do that I could recreate? That's
Yeah.
cool. So I'm trying to take out elements and starting to be more analytic in that matter.
And basically
Yeah,
taking inspiration from whatever everyone's posting, so your whole narrative changes and shifts to something else, a different mindset where
exactly.
you're simply more productive. You don't even need to try, it just happens. You get in the flow and you slowly start building from, you know, ground zero.
Exactly, exactly. And I think somehow it also holds me slowly back. Like I don't like, or I would say I give myself an allowance to submerge in TikTok. Like it's like, okay, I have half an hour now, I just watch. But usually when I
Yeah.
open social media, I do not watch, but I just like analyze the things that are there to see what's trendy, what could be good, what could I do for myself. And that is not as funny and not as time consuming as just consuming itself, right? So
True.
I feel like it's a little bit, it's like it's a positive way to keep myself out of it and like wasting my time on social media in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I'm kind of glad we're discussing about this now, because not many people, especially digital marketers, are, you know, open to say, and not only open to say it out loud, but also to realize that it's affecting their day-to-day life, right? So um it's nice to recognize that you have an addiction. Sorry to use that word, but yeah, it is an addiction.
Yeah, I have one.
I do too. It's you're not alone on that. But hey, it's,
So
at least we know it and we know how to treat it. So,
yeah, fist bump.
yep, that's what it is.
Yeah, we two junkies. I mean, a lot of things are addictive. It's like, I think it's like one of the lesser evil that you can be addicted. I mean, nobody is being harmed by that. It's just my time
Yeah,
that I'm wasting on something that has no substance, basically. But I think the mindset just really shifts if you start creating and you somehow. I look at it as a game. Like some people play video games on the PlayStation, but I just think I create something because it's still triggering my creativity. Yes, it is online. Yes, it is digital. And yes, it's not really like the chances that I'm going to make money out of it are relatively limited throughout the
yeah,
game, right? Except I really put in an effort and I use it as marketing. But let's talk about us as a creator. Like I cannot create a
as
post and I
creators,
know
yeah,
I'm as a creator, I cannot create a post and I know I'm gonna get money out of this post. Like
yeah,
nothing is for sure. It's a long game. It's like really
it
about
is.
connection, right? People have to see your stuff and like you really have to put out yourself out there. But you also learn a lot about I learned a lot about psychology, like what triggers people, what words should I use, and all these things. And it's actually impressive that if you know these things and you're like walking around, and especially like political posters, I think they're the worst example, because
Yeah.
they're like, when they have votes and they want my vote, like there's no call to action, for example. There's no hook. Like it's
None of that.
literally, it's a bad practice of doing marketing and a pure waste of money, if you ask me. And I was last time like here in Austria, there's like every 3 months somebody is like being elected for I don't know what, being the
For
janitor,
some, I
or
know
like there's
exactly what you
posters everywhere. It's crazy. Yeah, I think yeah, your country is the same.
mean.
And there is just
Yeah.
like a guy, or like there was a woman from a party, like a very rightish party. She didn't even smile. She just had this pissed face, right? There was like, women give flowers for women. And I was like, so what do I have from it, right? Like, yeah, I'm
Literally.
not a
And
woman.
why
I
are
don't
you
get a flower,
you're
but
not
I'm just
even
like,
a woman.
yes. I mean, okay, let alone that I'm from a different gender, but I am not even spoken to. But first of all, why the hell is she so pissed on the picture on a huge poster? It's like, could you not like crank out a smile? Like, we know that people like happy people, right? I don't go in a shop and somebody's like, what the fuck are you doing here, right? And like, hey, this
Wait,
was
was
such a
it
great
like
experience.
what kind of face was that? Like, was she like really like resting bitch face or?
Yeah, I think she did like this. Wait, like that was her facial expression. I was like, I don't know.
Oh,
She looks like this. She looks like this neighbor that when my football is going over the fence, like I'm not even gonna ring on the door. Like, yeah,
yeah, I know.
but
You know my
yeah, but then
question.
again, like you look at it, right? It has no hook, no clear message. It's just like, okay, flowers. Women give flowers to women.
Like
It's like,
forced to be there.
but why? It's like I write, the sky is blue. Has the same outcome, right? Like kind
No
of everybody
emotions.
knows it's yes, but also not what's the benefit for me. Like, why would I go there to get a flower? Like, what's the attached thing, or like what strings are attached, right? Do I have to sign up for something, or
Yeah.
do I get
So
shot?
okay, let me make this clear. So she's saying in her campaign that she's giving away flowers, like physical flowers.
Yeah, no, that was just such a an event that she organized for like
Yeah.
2 days before the elections were, right? She just wanted to be in the public again. I think that's why she gave flowers away to other women or something.
So
So
yeah, I think this is a very like it's a great start of a campaign, but I think the marketing team hasn't really had the time to complete it fully. So
no,
they are like, you know what, let me just throw something
but
into the
yeah,
faces of yeah, the people and just be like, okay, here's my campaign. And she's like, yeah, sure, just get something done real quick. And
yeah,
like, okay,
and
yeah,
just to
let's get flowers.
before before I started this story, now we're drifting away in the discussing political campaigns. We can actually do
As
that another
usual.
time. I have a lot of stuff that we could discuss about political, because also I have a
Let's
friend
do
who
it
works
next
for a political
episode.
company.
I'm done.
And every time I see something, I write, I'm like, what the hell did you just create here again? This is bullshit. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
a different story. We can do it another
For-
time. But what I wanted to say is like, I can kind of, because I work with this I work as a creator, and I know like what people want to read and people want to see in
Mhm.
order for them to click on my visual or video or
Yeah,
whatever. I can cut through the bullshit out there, right? Like I know what's good and what's bad, and based on that, I don't get affected by all these messages anymore. Also, when I see ads, for example, like I am very, how to say, I'm very uh I have a thick skin. Like what really gets to me, like
thick
it
skin. Yeah.
has to be a very good advertisement that I let it come to me. Whereas before I would have maybe fallen for the trap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because since I created, I know what's good and what's bad, and
Yeah.
somehow I can like look through if this is like a good company, for example, right? Like they have good advertisement, they have like good hooks, they have like good trigger points. So I know they know
Yeah.
what they're doing, and that costs money. So
Yeah.
it's kind of
That's
like that
true.
kind of game.
I have now that's bringing me to the next question, which is a really good question. Do you think when we are creating, we're actually helping the algorithm to determine whether we're a good fit for a certain ad, for a specific ad that's shown in our feed? Do you think we're actually helping by signalizing what we're doing and what we are more likely to watch?
You mean by us giving or like contributing to the space that the algorithm learns from us. That's what I mean?
Yeah, as creators.
I don't think so, because you cannot really do it. I mean, just when I think of like all the lists of 50 crazy hooks that you can use, right? I mean, I give these things away.
Yeah.
People copy it, but they just copy it because they hope it's working. It's not like it's coming from their psychological aspect. I think that the algorithm learns more on based how many seconds you're watching a video. You know, like TikTok is super
Yeah.
crazy about that.
And
Like
the
I
way
can be
your
watching your,
eye
yeah,
movements
just the
well.
behavior.
Yeah, behavior.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. And I just feel like there's so much analysis happening on your phone towards your facial expression, like now that you mentioned, that we don't even see, don't even know, but it's affecting everything.
And
And
I
it's
also
like this
think
invisible force.
I unfortunately think heartbeat plays a huge role as well to, acknowledge what's happening on our end.
So you mean if you wear an Apple Watch and you are with your iPhone on social media?
Yeah, like the sensor
That's
thing that kind of like measures your
yeah,
yeah. So that can
yeah,
tell
it's
a lot as
definitely
well.
connected, 100%. That is why I would never wear an Apple Watch or a Samsung smartwatch or anything like that, because I feel like those
Yeah.
tech giants have too much data. Then it's just too much power to be honest.
But that's the same with like phones. Our phones can measure that as well.
Really, heart rate.
Yeah, yeah.
You think this one can do it? I don't think so.
I think so, yeah. I think majority of them can do it.
I think my phone is stupid.
I hope so, because that's easier.
No, I think I don't know. I mean, I guess the data. Everybody has a smartwatch or like some heart rate measurement or either Fitbit or what they are. What's the name? All of them. But I think that somehow lands in a pool somewhere where you can definitely get all the data. So it's kind of like it's a bit off topic, but I have this discussion a lot when people say like, yeah, I want to be GDPR and like, I don't want to give my data away, especially now with DeepSeek, right? I don't want to give data
You're
to
really
China.
doing it, right?
Yes, I'm like, fuck this, right? You're just a pawn on this chessboard. Just like it's either China or Google that's gonna come and kill you, probably. I mean, it doesn't
Literally,
really
like
matter, right?
it's happening. Like you don't at this point we don't need to give consent because no one's
They
asking
have it
for this.
already. They're just taking it. Yes, exactly.
They're just
And then
taking
they're like they click on rejecting every cookie on every website, but then they shop on Temu, right? And I'm like, okay, now you're in the lion's den.
so I have a privacy page on my website. Like it's a must because when you're doing ads, like for example on LinkedIn, you have to add the privacy page of your website in order to
Right.
launch the ads. So it's a must. Like they are forcing us as marketers to create something like privacy page, but in fact we're just all
True.
here for one reason, and that's to make money on social media. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
you and I, we can't really do it as creators because we are just not there yet, or we may not even ever be. But yeah, like we can still use it to promote our business, right? As
It's
marketers,
true.
you don't always have to create. You can create, but your purpose as a creator is different than your purpose as a business owner. So,
Exactly.
it gives us a choice to be there and be more specific, more meaningful, really narrow down the focus of your target audience. And not just post for the sake of posting.
Yeah,
That's one
exactly.
thing.
Purpose is a keyword here.
Purpose, yeah.
It's always good to have a purpose for anything you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good. Hey, Simona, I think it was a good chat.
Love it. I think this
Very
was great.
spontaneous.